One more second. And there we go. We got.
What's going on, y'all? This is Crash Out Kings with Kings Come to Crash Out. This is a therapeutic podcast.
Yeah.
Take it away.
And today we're basically selling out already on episode 3 because we're talking about what everybody else on the internet is talking about. We're talking about Kendrick versus Drake, but I want to look at it from a bit of a different perspective because probably if you know me from our conversations, you know I don't really like going with the popular narrative. A lot of times it's just whoever has the biggest platform can say whatever the fuck they want. All of a sudden, everybody starts spouting out the same thing and nobody has a different opinion. But I do want to hear what you kind of thought about it to start off with.
Personally, I feel like it was like the purge of Drake because um throughout just like listening to hip hop and shit like that, I feel like that there's always for one been this narrative that Drake is corny, cringy, but the thing is the dude makes good music, or I used to like his shit a lot more back in the day. But what I think happened is that a lot of these rappers have been building up animosity, and I mean, you've heard stories like Drake has been fucking their BMs or their girlfriends or their wives or whatever like that. So then that on top of envy, and then the culture not feeling like Drake is black enough.
Hmm.
So I think when the whole thing happened with him and Metro Boomin, I think it gave the industry an excuse to really come for him. And it's kind of crazy because like the dude was like Thanos, you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying, against like the Avengers. So I think they all ganged up on him to take his ass out because they were tired of him. Now the way they did it, I mean, it was entertaining. And then with the whole Kendrick thing, I necessarily don't think Kendrick won musically. I
Hmm.
think he won by captivating the culture, specifically the the black culture and brown culture more so. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's funny because all of his fans are white.
Yeah. Because okay, so that's
you
kind of
know?
yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to get into. Um, just lagging a little bit, so I gotta wait for you to catch up. There we go. Okay, my bad. I'll cut that. So, anyways, fuck, I lost my train of thought because of that. Give me a second to fucking come back. Yeah. Okay. So, do you really think that it's gonna affect Drake long term though? Because that's what everybody keeps spinning the narrative like Drake is over. This is the destruction of Drake, and it's like maybe like reputation wise, but at the same time, he already got done in before by that other dude. Remember him? Like he had a beef a while back. He didn't even respond to him. He revealed his son,
Who?
Pusha T. Pusha T. Sorry, that's who I was thinking of. Right. So he's
Yeah,
been
but Pusher
bodied
won.
before. What?
They said yeah. They said Pusher won that.
Exactly. So Drake's been bodied before by somebody else and keeps standing, keeps going. You know, because Drake doesn't even necessarily rap. He's a pop star. You know what I mean?
Well, I think that there's a slight difference because like I said, like this has been a build up, right? So I think like so much is built up even from that thing, right? Because here's what happened. So when Meek Mill came at him, right, for ghost writing, like this dude Drake, he seemed to be damn near invincible because he was claiming at the time that he was the greatest rapper of all time and his pen game was crazy. Come to find out that he had ghosts. So you
Hmm.
think that, especially back then, like lyrics and everything in the creation of a good song actually mattered. So when Meek Mill came out and did that, because you gotta remember back then the Meek Mills, the J. Cole's, like it was almost more, it was about lyrics back then. So to find out that one of the greats was using Ghost, I
Hmm.
thought he was over. But Drake makes good music and Drake understands like the social construct of hip hop and pop culture. So he, right, and this was the, I think this was probably the first time that like a number one diss on like that song will go down back to back and all that shit. The way he did it was so methodical and crazy because he made a diss song for the radio.
Hmm.
So it was wild. And that's what Kendrick did to him. You know what I'm saying? Because Kendrick, with the "They Not Like Us," he understood, if I can get this on the radio and if I can get this on TikTok and all that shit like that. That's why Drake actually just I don't know when it's gonna go through, but he basically got Kendrick's diss songs to be taken off of TikTok, Instagram, and like all of the social media databases. I don't know when it comes into effect, but I know Joe Button was just speaking about it because Drake understands that Kendrick pulled a pretty dope chess moves. But anyway, to answer your question, when it comes to both of them, I think the difference is that Pusha T stood alone, right? Coming at him, right? And then Pusha hit him with that one with the kid. So it almost became like, damn, like the kid was such a big thing that it almost overshadowed everything else. And then you just was like, okay, he won. But I think with this time, um, fucking Future, Metro Boomin, The Weeknd, all these people coming at him at once, I think Drake might be. I think Drake might be done, bro. I think it's Drake's time to Jay-Z this shit. I think it's Drake's time to pivot.
Hmm.
Like Drake is still showing up. Like he was just at this crazy ass event where it's like only younger dudes are popping out. But that's Drake's MO though. Like he still wants to be seen as like, like I'm still in the game. I'm still healthy, or I'm not some old dude. But I think it might be time for Drake to pivot
Hmm.
because even after the beef, he's kind of making weird moves where after the whole beef happened and they claim and they crowned Kendrick, he dropped a song right after with Sexy Red. And then now he just did a remix of this parody rappers
Yeah.
song, and it's just like I don't understand the way he's moving. But I think for the first time, I think Drake might be out of here.
See, yeah, those couple things that is weird because J Cole also came out with some weird grippy song, but like to me, I feel like we know the internet has such a short attention span. Like they basically just kind of bandwagon to one thing to one thing to one thing. I could be the one getting canceled today, and then a year later, I come out against somebody else. Suddenly, everybody's on my team. I feel like with Drake, it's really how much he's going to capture of, I don't even want to say white audience, but the mainstream audience. Because, like, of course, the people who really care about hip hop, like, in the streets, who really care about the culture, are going to be like, yeah, Kendrick bodied Drake. And I'm not saying he didn't, because when you're talking about you know what I mean? When you're talking about, like, all the insight, I didn't realize, like, yeah, I guess he did make, like, a hit record to go at Drake. So that's pretty interesting. But at the same time, it's like, I don't know, because I feel like if Drake just comes back with another song like, anything off his Scorpion album and actually tries again, I feel like the white moms are just gonna go back to bopping his shit. Everybody's gonna forget and everybody's gonna move on. Like man, I don't know if I could see. And maybe you've seen it before, but it's like Drake is such a Goliath. Like, yeah, Kendrick, you hear a lot about him, but I'm just saying it's like it seems like it's everybody else, and then Drake is like way up, which I guess means he has a farther way to fall. But I don't know. It's an interesting perspective the way that you said that now that he has a hit song, maybe that audience will start to care.
Well, you know what I think it is that hip hop is a popularity thing, right? So you know that statistically speaking, white kids from the ages of like 13 predominantly to like 27 are like the main core audience who buys hip hop, right? And specifically Drake, right?
Hmm.
So what I think it is that it's that the black community, the black and brown community, um, sales wise and stuff like that, they're probably not going to be the one driving the ship. But what I think happens is when you get the public, and when you get especially like the black culture and brown culture, who is classified as like to be hardcore like hip hop, you know what I'm saying? But when you get them to pick a side, I think that the white kids from the suburbs now are picking sides too,
Yeah.
because Kendrick has made it cool for. So that's why I think the sales will drop, because like although Drake can still come out with dope songs, I think at parties, right? Even if he drops a song, I think the narrative is going to be like, bro, like Drake's corny, And these are people who don't even really give a fuck about Kendrick. But
Hmm.
Kendrick has like taken over the internet and the web and the perception that Drake's a weirdo and Drake's a pedophile. So then added with all the shit that's happening with Diddy and everybody else, now everybody's staying away from anybody with some weirdo charges. Now it's
Yeah.
like after the Diddy shit, now people are like, and that's why they said Jay-Z hasn't been seen ever since. Jay-Z won't even step out. He didn't even go to this like this major hip hop festival that's been going on all week or some shit. He won't go there. He only went to Tom Brady's celebration party or whatever like that, because there's a lot of close ties with him and Diddy.
Hmm.
So right now, bro, it's like the worst time for that shit to kind of come out, and that's why that was Kendrick's thing. Like for an example, I'm in the grocery store like a few days ago, and I'm just in line, and there's a white kid behind me, and he's like certified lover boy, certified pedophile, and
Hmm.
that weird fucking stupid Kendrick voice that I hate.
Yeah.
But I'm like, damn, bro, like a lot of people who don't even know or give a fuck about Kendrick's catalog, now it's the popular thing to do because if you look at the TikToks and Instagram, I think like the template is like one of the highest of all time.
Yeah.
Like those quotables, you know?
I do wonder if I'm missing something too, because I was confused about that as well. Because I remember like there's some Kendrick songs I listened to before where it's like King Kata and all those old songs on the other album, and like he it's so confusing because you're still, are you good? Okay.
Am I
Okay.
lagging?
Yeah, it just looked like you were talking, but you weren't. Anyways, and like all those older songs that he dropped, I'm like, okay, I can kind of see like I like a lot of that stuff, but it's like, what's this voice? Like, is this what he does normal? Like, I was confused because I was like, the two greatest Goliaths in rap are about to clash, and then it's like, what, I'm gonna do my stuff. Is he like making fun of Drake in that voice? Is that how he kind of like? Because I swear he didn't used to rap like that previous. So you think that was kind of to make it more of a pop hit, or like was it just a?
No, Kendrick has always low key rap like that. Like if you go back to when he was like K Dot, I think Kendrick really took a lot of his influence from Lil Wayne, right? Because I would listen to this mixtape fucking probably in 2013, and he's like, "Hey, what's up? My name is Kendrick." Like like they all take a lot of artists have taken like Thug, and that's all bled into like Lil Uzi and everything like that. And even Drake, when you listen to Ransom, first off, you know what it is when you heard Drake, right? I think a lot of those artists were taking that "it's Weezy, baby." And I know for a fact that if you look at Kendrick when he was K Dot, he had that little like alien voice. And then if you look at a bunch of his other shit, he's always kind of had that weird ass voice. And you know what I think it is? I think in terms of like musical theory, and like I think like why the Biggie Smalls, right? When he was like menage a trois, sex and expensive costs, all that shit. When you have weird voices, you can like say words that don't normally rhyme with other words and make it make sense. So
Yeah.
when he's like, "Hey Drake, I heard you like him," yeah, like it's like he's able to like fluctuate that weird ass voice and use it in his favor so that he can make shit rhyme that normally wouldn't fucking rhyme.
Mm.
But also I don't understand. Maybe I'm just stupid, but Kendrick has always said shit that doesn't make sense. When he said my left hook just went viral, like, what the fuck does that mean? Do you know what that means? Remember that was a huge thing. When he said my left hook just went viral, and I was like, what the fuck does that mean?
I'm gonna be.
And then he comes with the wop. Like what? I don't know what any of that means.
I mean, I'm assuming it's like he punched somebody and then like it went viral. But like, I I, I realize with that type of rap that I just gotta kind of get like with. I'm trying to think like Tech Nine, all these different types of guys. Like you'll look in the comments and it's like this is what I don't like. This is why I really liked that Chris Brown diss that he did on Quavo because it was right to the point. It's like, yo, kiss my fucking ring. You're a fucking bitch. Fuck you. Where it's like I don't like this technical shit. Like I'm even King Cudi. He's like the yams be the power that be. I'm like, what is he talking about? Then you go in the comments. It's like, well, 1960 in this specific neighborhood, the yams were on the shelf, and that means that he was denying the culture, but now he accepts it. So you don't understand that this one line about yams is actually way deeper than it's like Eminem type shit. It's like Eminem is like, bologna and pancakes. I'm running down the street and blah, blah, blah. And then people are like, oh, you don't understand. He's talking about bologna from 2000. It's like, bro, nobody.
I think that's bullshit.
The attention span is so short now, and that's like, because I've started to notice it even just making the videos that I make. And it's interesting to get a perspective because you've been listening to hip hop a lot longer than I have. So I even get to learn about before because with me, right, I listened to all these different types of rappers through 2017, 2018. That's when I really started to get into that type of rap. And then you see all the stories come out, and I got to see the SoundCloud wave kind of actually happen in real time. Where now you see people who clearly have only heard like the stories and now they're retelling it, and that's like 2017 stuff. And there's so much wrong information that gets spread now. So I feel like 2011, like nobody remembers that type of shit. So that's why I feel like it will ride the narrative for a while, and then some other thing's gonna happen, and I just feel like it's gonna be like, but at the same time, maybe Drake will pivot and start doing music with Taylor Swift or something. Honestly, he could probably do that, and it wouldn't, like, you know what I mean, or just start doing pop music altogether, just give up on, and still be successful. But I'm not sure.
Yeah. No, and he could, bro. That's the thing is that like their whole angle is that now Drake, because you got to realize that Drake went from a standpoint of being like I know I'm not hard and I'm not going to rap about hard shit. And but then you heard in his one tape, the new tape, or I think what song was that? It was a newer song where he was like, he specifically said, I wasn't with the shits back then, but now I am. And it's like, Drake, no, you're not. Nigga, you not running no fades, you not shooting shit up, you not doing nothing, bro. Like you got so much money that you can put a bag on somebody's head and get them wiped off the map. Yeah, of course, right? But that doesn't take like you're not a gangster because of that. You know what I'm saying? You're more like a mobster, but you're not a gangster, bro. So that's their angle. They're like, bro, like you're a clown. Stop pretending. That's why Kendrick said, I like the Drake with the melodies more than the one who's acting hard,
Yeah.
right? And that's their angle. So if he pivots that way, for sure. And to speak about like you, bro, what you just said about, I think, yo, the fans reach so fucking much, right? So I was listening to DJ Academics today, and he was saying how like people are saying that when Kendrick said, so why these jabronis trying to see Compton, right? Jabronis is like a direct derogatory term for like a clown or a lame or a mark or whatever like that. And he's like, why these jabroni ass niggas trying to see Compton?
Hmm.
The internet is trying to say that that was directed at the game when he did that song with Drake, when he brought Drake to Compton. And it's like, how the fuck did you get what that simple sentence? But you know what it is though? It's like Andy Warhol, right?
Hmm.
Warhol at the height of his like popularity, whatever. He used to go on interviews, right? And and they would be like, "Why the soup can?" And he'd be like, "Well, when the wind blows to the north, I hear melody." And it's like, and then everyone's like, "Oh, shit, that's crazy." Boom, 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 boom. But really, he later on said that he would just say ambiguous shit and let the narrative and let the people create whatever the fuck they wanted. And I think that that's what happens in hip hop, where people are creating these things. Now, I do see the double and triple entendres, where like one thing means like three different things and shit like that. But that's just hard to digest. And me personally, I don't like music like that. That's why I don't like the J. Cole's and everything like that. Nor do I like Kendrick. But guess what though, bro? This is how like people don't realize. Like X spoke about this too. He's like, yo, melodies, frequencies, all these things, right? And he also said, be careful who you listen to, because although it's conspiracy type shit, artists since fucking Pink Floyd and all them, they've been putting like hidden messages and weird shit in the music that like makes it addictive. You know what I'm saying? Because the mind is like a computer. So if you can figure out like that's why they say that pop music, right? They say that there's really like four old white dudes who are writing songs for Taylor Swift and all these pop artists, because it's a science at that point, right?
Hmm.
And why I know that is because I don't like Kendrick. I can't stand his shit, right? But bro, you can't tell me that I don't get a little hype when I hear that song come on in the radio. What? I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I actually like that song, and it's not because I'm a Drake hater, like, you know what I'm saying? But it's like that song, it gets me hype, and like I know the words now to some degree. When it's like you couldn't pay me to learn a fucking Kendrick song,
Yeah.
so that's why it's all methodical and strategy, bro.
Yeah, because did you hear back in the day when Cardi B first got signed, or not when she first got signed, but they said something about like, okay, we're gonna get you a TikTok song, and she's like, no, I do real rap, but like they were just gonna put her in a room and just make that song, and then she said no, but then eventually that if it's up, then it's up became a TikTok song. So it's true. That's the way it goes, right? They just get them in there and they just like give them all the ingredients. Like this is they got it down to a science, and that's the messed up thing that I find about like to go a little bit off topic, but like for the first time ever, I really think like there's always been music and underground music forever. Like that's where the underground comes from. People performing in warehouses. You know what I mean? But that's never been able to really culturally get huge. Besides like maybe the hippie movement. But with SoundCloud, it was finally like the internet was in a weird place at a certain time where it's like it was finally developed enough that it was like, oh, now we can get all these artists to actually blow up off this app. We can do it right in our basement. We can be the videographer. We can be everything. You know what I mean? But
Mhm.
then that kind of it started in 2014. Nobody really caught on right away. 2015, 2016, 20. By the time 2017 came around, the labels were like, "Oh crap, we didn't notice this was bubbling. We gotta like this is the first time we might actually lose power. Like these artists have fan bases, they have shows, they're doing everything. They don't need us anymore. That
They don't
can't
need.
So they get in there, they change the algorithm, they sign all the poppin' people, completely destroy them, Pumps, guys, Ski, all those guys. And then TikTok comes along, and TikTok in 2020, I wasn't following it in 2019. I know that's how NASCAR blew up. But anyways, it had a few months. You got like the guy Make a Cup of Coffee. You probably heard that song during the pandemic. That's annoying ass song. And you got the Corvette guy. They're all coming out, and it was like almost another SoundCloud. But immediately, as soon as Megan the Stallion dropped that, I'm a bougie savage, whatever the hell, bam, the labels are like, no, we see it coming this time. And ever since, it's like they made a pivot. It's like the labels thought they had control. SoundCloud started coming up. They're like, kill this shit right off the fucking planet. Oh, we see TikTok, kabam. And not only did they blow up TikTok, they turned it into a weapon to just be like, all right, nobody ever gets to be independent again. Nobody even comes close because we almost just let actual good art in here. Like, we can't have that. No, that's going to mean we don't make any money. You know what I mean? And, like, I mean, I know you were locked up during the time that all kind of went down in 2020, but that we seen like even before the pandemic, people blame the pandemic. 2019 was a terrible year for rap. Like
Yeah.
it was the last fucking
Everyone
wet
was dying
fart.
and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, like fucking Juice died. I think no, Juice died in no. Yeah, Juice died that year. Like
Yeah.
it was. Yeah, that was definitely, and that's what happened. Like people don't, and that's why people need to like do their homework because they look at people like Lil Pump. Lil Pump, right? Had a fucking like I don't know if this is the actual story, but it was something like he was signed to like basically somebody that he was signed to like created this fucking this program that was able to basically put you like in everyone's face. And then the I think it was Universal signed his like fucking weird programmer who was helping him get on the For You pages and like blow him up. They signed that dude and then took the technology and then now that's what they're using for like dudes like Forbats and shit. Where
Mm-hmm.
they're like they know how to control it. Not to mention at this point, bro, like these executives and shit probably have so much money that they're directly going to fucking TikTok and Instagram and they're saying, listen, I'm gonna sign like let me slide you some bread so you can fucking blow my guy up and money speaks, bro.
Yeah.
That's what I think is happening.
And
They're blowing them up because how the fuck does Four Bats have 3 songs and he has a quarter billion monthly and he just started? Like, what the fuck?
and people don't even like the worst part is that people don't even care because like I never care like industry plants back in the day when all those ones started to blow up with the Kid Booze and the Icy Narcos. I didn't care that much because I was like, I know it wasn't like the organic come up, but it kind of still made sense. It's like this is just the industry, like in the internet in general. This is gonna kind of be a weird off point, but like back in the day, we all used to laugh at like these old dinosaurs of companies that would do these cringy fucking ads and like try to appeal, and they just didn't get it, and it was awesome. But now they get it, and that's bad because we're all sitting there like, haha, Burger King, they're making a Whopper, Whopper, Whopper. That's not good. They now understand. They now understand internet culture and why we're all going Whopper, 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 Whopper. They're selling more shit. Like that, and that happened with music too. They caught on. They didn't. They were old dinosaurs, but now they're catching on. And we do not want those old decrepit boomers at the top of the world to understand this shit because they took us from being the generation that would have had the most power ever with the internet to do anything, and have now and look and even we were talking about that draft thing too. All of a sudden, they want to draft people from 18 to 27. It's almost like that's the audience that will be the kind of the next generation. It's like it's weird. It's like all these decrepit dinosaurs almost got a problem with what's coming next, and they're fighting it so hard. And think of it this way too. Back in World War I, say, throughout most of world history, there was only about 3 generations alive at any time. Like you would be people lived about 40. You'd be lucky if your grandfather was still alive. But we live in a time where we got some of the greatest generations still alive. We got the boomers, we got the Gen Xers, we got millennials, we got Zoomers, and we got alphas. So we got 6 different generations living on the planet. So what does that mean? You know what I mean? For like back in the day, this generation will say in World War I, they controlled the planet for a little bit. They taught these guys, so they taught these guys. Now we have 6. So these guys, the boomers, are controlling like these guys should have taken over forever ago. It should almost be these, but these old fucking decrepit dinosaurs are still running the entire world. Meanwhile, these alpha guys are being completely controlled by, you get what I mean? Like it's like the lifespan's getting longer is making it so the world is not changing how it should.
Yeah. No, and that's part of the reason why I took a step back from music, because when I got out of prison, like it was fucked when I was out. But now, bro, like you gotta pay to play. They have completely fucked and taken over everything, and then they're shitting on you even more by being like, you and like, bro, I know, bro, like I don't know for a fact, but I'm speculating that that's why the algorithm is so fucked, because if you're not willing to pay for playlists, if you're not willing to pay for placements and putting any sort of money into their fucking database, then your song and your music, it won't travel. And it's because these dinosaurs have come in and they've taken over everything. Because like bro, SoundCloud was one of the greatest eras of music in our generation, because it was the first time that we truly had the power in our hands to create a future for ourselves musically. But
Yeah.
as you know, with the little pumps and shit, they started to sell out, and they were able to basically brand the SoundCloud rapper. And then I think even with that, they probably low key took the image and probably like they hoarded out so much that it now is like a joke. You
Hmm.
know,
Yeah.
it's truly a meme.
They took basically our version of counterculture. There's always been counterculture throughout every generation. Like I said, the hippies in the 60s, you know, the grunge in the 90s. They took our counterculture within 3 years of it existing, packaged it, and sold it back to us, and nobody cares. Like, we should be more
at,
angry
at
about that.
great value at
Yeah,
Walmart, like value.
exactly. And it's true because you see how SoundCloud's always advertising that SoundCloud Go now. Like, you got to pay. Like, even this is even with, like, you know, the dating app Tinder. Same shit I noticed. Back in the day, I used to use that. You get a million matches. Now you got to pay for the gold. If you, and all of a sudden, if you cancel your membership, you get like 17 matches. And when you got the membership and you're paying, it's because they're trying to bait you back. So everything's pay to win. And it's basically like once one dude starts doing steroids, now everybody's got to, because even underground rappers are friggin' buying bots, buying followers, buying
Mainstream
comments.
ones are too. Mainstream are too. Like,
Yeah.
I was watching the Danza Project, and it's a podcast, and he was speaking about like he was like, "Yo, like I have people hit me up from the industry, big artists, telling me like, bro, like, get me on there. We'll probably hit like I don't know, like a quarter mil, but I'm gonna make it look like it's like 2 mil." And
Mhm.
he's like, "Nah, bro, I know the difference. Like, I know the difference between getting real views and not getting real views, as far as like what it does for you and your pocket. Of course, it looks good, but that's the problem, is that the internet also has now created this like this like this thing where like people have to appear to be happier than they actually are, or people have to appear to have more money than they actually do. And that's why now people don't understand that followers do not equate to dollars.
No.
You know, a lot of people are broke and down bad, but they're online flexing money and flexing a lifestyle that just like that's not real.
Yeah.
And then so what happens is now you go chasing that, and you start to you work a fucking 9 to 5, and then you're spending fucking 75% of your check giving it to these playlists who are botting your shit. And it's like the rat race, you know?
And it kind of goes back to what we were talking about last time, where we were talking about clout, because it's like, oh, it almost makes a little bit more sense, because when it's with your boys and your boys start doing well, you're like, let's go. But then you got these other rappers who aren't even doing well at all, flexing on that, and it's like it's probably because it's bought followers. And I've had arguments with people before, where it's like they're trying to tell me, well, this rapper's been around forever. I know they're making money. Like, once you actually start making money online, you truly understand how it equates down. Because like I don't know about Spotify per se, like that's more your thing than mine, but I've heard it's dog water. YouTube's a little bit better, but I'll straight up, I'll tell you guys, most YouTubers probably wouldn't do this. My biggest video ever, 125,000 views, bigger than your favorite rapper's biggest song. You know what I mean? Um, that got me about $350. You know, it's not. You probably see that and you probably think it's at least 1,000. It's 2,000. Like, you know what I mean? I'm not complaining. I'm happy. Making any money online is like great. Don't get me wrong, but like I'm just saying, like you got to understand that these it's not as much as you. Cause think like how much money you need to fucking survive just off rent and all that. Like, and if these rappers are just breaking even, They're probably going to a
Yeah.
9 to 5. You know, no shame in that, but
Or scamming.
or yeah, you wonder why all these rappers. You're like, these rappers are scamming. I don't get it. They're making so much money. It's because they're not. It's because they friggin' tat their face up. And it's not even the tatting the face up. It's they have a terrible internet footprint. You know, what?
Yeah, no, it's true.
Like they get on there and they're popping fucking Zans. Lil Pump. Good thing he has money because he signed a deal. You think anybody would hire him? Not for the face tattoos. It's because he's got friggin' viral videos of him smoking in Walmarts and eating Xan cakes and popping Xanax 24/7. Nobody's gonna employ that. And that's fine when you're that level, but you got these small rappers who are flexing guns, doing terroristic type shit, and like, you know, snorting
Yeah.
pills on their story, and you wonder, like, that's gonna put you in a bad situation. You don't want that because, you know, employers look up your past.
Well, and that's why a lot of them end up falling off and becoming junkies because like I forget who it was, but I remember when X I think was beefing with Little Peep and Tracy, and X was going online on the stories being like, y'all boys is broke as fuck. And then like learning about Craig Zen and shit like that. And a lot of these dudes at the height of their popularity were broke, living on other people's couches or living with their managers or some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? And that's why you
Yeah,
got Wildfire's funeral going around doing shows, scamming people for merch, doing shows just to feed his addiction that was created because the internet sold him a dream that turned into a nightmare. Because
yeah,
a lot of kids right now think that if they blow up and they start getting hundreds of thousands of views on their platforms, that their life is going to change dramatically. That's not true. We live in an era where you have to sign a deal, which you're still not going to make that much. So think about this: YNW Melly, at the height of his career, when he made that song, $50,000 advance in my account,
hmm.
$50,000. I thought the dude was like a millionaire at this time.
Dude,
He got an
10K.
advance for $50,000, bro. And he's got music videos with millions and millions and millions of plays. But he only got signed for 50K. Takashi 6ix9ine got signed for 35,000. Trippy Red made 5,000 from that for finder's fee.
Hmm.
Your life does not change. You know, you have to become a clown, do some sort of wild shit, sell out, start fucking, I don't even know, bro. Like you have to, it's not about the music, you know what I'm saying? Especially at this point. And I think that that's why the trap metal scene is dying, is because everything is the same. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody's really doing anything but wishing and hoping that maybe one day that they'll pop, not
Yeah,
knowing that it's a fucking cul-de-sac and it's a dead end.
it's it's the craziest thing to like learn about once the layers start peeling back. They never go back on because it's like we always wonder. Like I think there's so many people that sit there and wonder like, why do these people like? How is it possible? And like 90% of the time, I find out it's mostly people who already have money. Like Lil Aaron, he's rich. Like he was rich before music. You know what I mean? Cemetery, that guy. His story doesn't even make sense. He's like, and I know people are gonna freak because I'm talking about Cemetery, but it's like, yeah, I started making music, blah blah blah, and then I started doing shows before I was even famous. You know what I mean? And then you find out everybody in his camp is living with their parents because they're not making any money, but his parents got money already. And then they try to cover it up. I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with that, but I just think people should be a little bit more forthcoming with that. But to answer a question that a lot of people ask us, and I'll get your take on it too, and then we'll like close it out. But it's like people, why are all these rappers like this? Okay, I know we're all seeing the glitz and the glamour of like all these cool dudes, but let's look at it from a realistic perspective. Starting off with Little Pump because I guess he's a topic. So on the No Jumper tour, that was like one of the heights of like Lil Pump's career. He's 16 years old. He's out there making tons of money, fucking girls, and doing Xanax. But think about it for a minute. Adam 22 is 30 years old. Smoke Perp was like 21 or something at the time, and everybody else around him was like 25. So take away all the performative nature. This is a bunch of grown men sitting around a 16-year-old feeding him Xanax, and that's why Pump's cousin got upset at Perp and all of them. You know what I mean? So it
Yeah.
looks great. It looks awesome. He just gets to do drugs and get rich, but like that's messed up in a realistic standard. And it's the same with a lot of these guys. They drop out of school. They are bums already. They just do anything for just like a quick hit of serotonin, whether it's drugs or blah blah blah. They got no ambition, and 90% of the time, and this is why I hate rappers like, well, I know Blueface did it back in the day. I got myself to the top, nobody else did. There's always some actual intelligent person around them that has a little bit of skills with money, that knows a little bit, and they get that for them. But like, they're never talked about. It's always like, oh yeah, they just blew up. Like, that dumbass would be dead on the side of the road if there wasn't somebody intelligent walking, like, watching out for them during their time.
And the ones who don't have somebody watching out for them die.
Exactly, yeah. Or everybody
You
turns
know, and
fake, you
then
know?
yeah, and no, I can definitely agree with that because what happens is even with Gucci, right? I think Gucci Man is one of the biggest scammers too,
Hmm.
because I think Gucci Man signs artists, right?
Hmm.
Like for example, Pooh Shiesty had that murder. I'm pretty sure Pooh Shiesty had that murder beef going on and fighting it when he got signed to 1017.
Hmm.
So what happens? Gucci signs him to a crazy ass contract, probably gets hella percentages of his music, and then he gets locked up, and then now Gucci is still raping him for all the money. Oop, I
Hmm.
said the R word.
Hmm.
But you know what I'm saying? Bleep that out, whatever, like that.
Yeah.
And then he signs that one chick. I forget her name, but he signs this chick. Now she's known to be kind of like more of a she's just out there. Let's just say that. I don't want to women shame or slut shame or anything like that, but
Hmm.
she's out there. Signs her. You never hear shit about her. Why is it that he's signing all these artists knowing that they're going to either die? Because I think she died from an overdose or go to prison and then they
Hmm.
reap the benefits. And that's what's happening to a lot of these dudes where they're like, for example, the dude who owns Strange Music is the son of an executive up at fucking Universal Studios,
Hmm.
and he signed Trippy and then signed 6ix9ine and probably had them fabricate the whole beef so that he can make money off of it.
Oh, you mean 10K? Yeah.
No,
Like,
I thought it was Strange Music who owns Trippy and 6ix9ine or who
nah,
signed them.
10K. I don't know. What's Strange Music? Isn't that like Tech Nine?
No, so that no, actually, he might have changed it, but from the last time I checked, this dude, he's like some white dude, and like his
Hmm.
dad is one of the executives up at Universal Studio, and the label who signed Trippy and 6ix9ine at first it was Strange Music. Now
Hmm.
I know it's different than the Tech Nine strange thingy, you know.
Hmm. Yeah, and it's like,
Yeah, I'll have to look into it.
even look at internet money. Like, internet money is basically like spawned the last couple years of, hip like pop music. Like, that's where, why you always in a mood, da da da. They come from that. They, you know what I mean? And like, everybody looks at internet money like it was like this homegrown thing. It's like, no, it was like put together by a label. They ran Juice World through it, and that worked, and then they just keep doing it. So that, like, is, I remember even at the time in 2018, and like, it happened a little bit before. I remember I, for one, thought Little Mosey was just clout, like, riding the wave. And that's Little Mosey, who a lot of people, okay, people thought Little Skies. I even kind of thought Little Skies was also riding the wave. People thought that about Juice World and Little Xan. So, like, these were people that came later on. And those were still people you would consider part of the SoundCloud wave. But at the time, people were like, these guys are just clout riding. And then you get Tekka way later on. And now you got
Yeah.
all these supposed SoundCloud rappers who never, you know what I mean? And that's fine, but I just don't get why all of a sudden it's like, it's cool now. We got that Ian guy who just like, I watched the video on him. It's like he made one song, it blew up on a snippet, first song he ever made in his life, and now he's at Rolling Loud. Like, does that even make sense? Like,
Yeah. No, that's because that's what they do, bro. Like, and I think I watched a few of your videos where you literally went over different artists who all had the same thing. Like as far as like them being planted and shit like that, you know?
hmm. Yeah,
Sorry,
like,
my yeah. But yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think today we went over some dope ass shit. Um Man, I hope that y'all stay tuned in. We started off with the trap metal scene and everything like that, but sometimes things need to either be purged so that they can be renewed or just left alone because it's not beneficial.
yeah. I mean, we can, maybe next time, you never know, maybe we can try to give you our thoughts on, how we think it can be fixed, but I for one, and I
That could be
think
a dope thing.
you as well, personally, are gonna back off. But we can give you one more piece of knowledge before, that's left behind for
Yeah,
good. All right.
yeah.
Appreciate you all for turning up, and yeah, we'll be back same time next week.
Hey, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe, gang.
All right, one sec.